Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Onboard with Jonathan. I am your host, Sam, and this is Jonathan. Today, we are going to discuss some important details of the days leading up to your cruise, the sea days, the port days, and also the last and final day getting ready to get off your cruise. Let's start off with packing and heading towards that cruise, going into that, all the excitement. What should I wear? What's going to happen? Let's just talk a little bit about that. I know it changes and it varies very much depending on your itinerary, but Jonathan will
Mhm.
get into that. Jonathan, let's discuss formal nights, port days, sea days. What do I wear when I'm on a cruise?
It's a lot. It's a lot of clothes, right? Depending on how many nights and where your cruise is going to, right? So we'll talk about first thing that I think about is dinner, right? Dinner. I love eating a nice dinner on the ship. I'll just say, just very briefly, make sure you check the information that's given to you in your booking to know how many formal nights, how many informal nights, casual nights. Cruises have gone very informal lately. So just check to see, make sure that you have the appropriate attire that you need to eat in the main dining room and experience that wonderful dining experience on board. Obviously, if you're going to the Bahamas and the Caribbean, doing a little bit of the Mexican Riviera, bring a lot of shorts, a lot of t-shirts, bathing suits. The ships have multiple spas, pools, and if you're going to the beach, bring a lot of those casual items with you. Just make sure you have enough. Some cruise lines have self-service laundry facilities that you pay for, but they are available to you. But it's all dependent on the cruise line and the cruise ship because they do not all offer that. But they do offer dry cleaning for a charge, where in case you do run out of clothes and you don't pack enough. But I'll stress, pay attention to the itinerary that you are on and the information that comes over with your booking once everything is all finalized, so you know that you're bringing the right type of formal or informal wear on board with you as you embark on your cruise.
So, from what I understand, watching your video before of the cabin, looking at the space that you have within the cabin, I mean, you
Mhm.
really truly do have to pack wisely and not overpack. Let's talk about packing light for the ship, and also what are the necessities for that amount of time that you're going to be at sea.
Yeah, so you bring up a good point, right? Cruise ship cabins. If some of our viewers, some of our subscribers are not familiar with cruise ship cabins, they're small, but they're usually designed very well, making sure that they use every amount of space in the room. On the last cruise that I was on, very good amount of space. Quick tip to keep the room kind of flowing well. Most of your suitcases can actually fit underneath your bed, so you could leave if you're a couple and you're with your girlfriend or your wife, and there's you have your gowns or your dresses, or if you're wearing suits, if this is a very formal cruise, that pretty much leaves all the hanging space available for you, because your suitcases are pretty much underneath the bed and you won't see them until the last day, until you start packing again.
Okay, wonderful. So let's talk about the essentials for the cruise.
Mm.
One of the biggest things that I always wonder is like when you go on vacation anywhere, you go to a resort, sometimes you prefer to bring things, sometimes you buy things on board. Are there certain items that you should bring, or are there certain items that you should just leave at home and purchase them while you're on board to save space in your luggage?
I think you should bring everything that you think you're going to need. Like if you're going to the Caribbean again, Bahamas, Mexican Riviera, any tropical climates, make sure you bring enough shorts. Make sure you bring a bathing suit, t-shirts, polos. The couple that I was sharing, this wonderful couple that I had a great and wonderful time with on my last cruise. The husband forgot shorts. I think he forgot shorts, so he was using the bathing suit that kind of passed over looking like shorts, and he said he wanted to buy a bathing suit in the gift shop on the ship. It was $100 for a bathing suit. So don't buy the bathing suit on the ship. Bring your bathing suit that you spent 30 or 40 bucks back on land, and bring it on with you. Short story very quickly. There was a cruise that I went on very long time ago with my ex-girlfriend. I was very busy parking the car and paying attention to where I was parking the car. Jonathan, me, I got all my luggage out of the car, right? But I left one of the pieces of luggage of my girlfriend in the back of the car. So fast forward, Cliff Note story. We thought that the ship never loaded the luggage on board. So here I am being not very nice to the ship, thinking that they left it at the port in Baltimore. Meanwhile, I'm buying all this stuff on the ship for her. Like, there really isn't an abundant amount of clothing that you could buy on the ship. The ships have shops, but they don't have the things like if you were going to a mall. And then when we got back to Baltimore 10 days later, the bag was in the back of the car. I had a very bad cruise because that experience was not good. I wish I would have left my bag. So yes, there's certain things you can buy, but you're going to be paying a good premium for them.
Oh my goodness. What a funny story. I've actually never heard that before.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I hope that wouldn't happen to me. I am very forgetful and I feel like that would happen to me. The one thing that I always hesitate to bring anywhere, just because I know it usually loses the air, is the sunscreen. If you're bringing canned sunscreen, sprayable sunscreen, just because when I fly, I know it normally is going to lose the air out of it, or I'm afraid of it bursting all over
Mm-hmm.
my items inside my luggage. However, I've had experiences where I've brought it, and the next thing you know, the airlines have lost my luggage, and I'm paying premium prices at a resort. So I will definitely keep that in mind when it comes to cruising. Bring your sunscreen in advance. Do not pay the premium price on board. Next topic here. Let's talk about sea days. I always have a lot of questions about this when you go cruising and when you come back. I always love to hear what you can do and the exciting experiences that you get while you're at your sea days. So talk to me a little bit about what activities the cruise ships normally offer while at sea.
Sure. So it's going to be very dependent on the cruise line, right? We'll just talk broadly, right? Because every cruise line is different. One cruise line is different from the other. You could do as much or as little as you want on the sea day. If you're very casual and you're okay just sitting by the pool, maybe watching a movie by the pool and, enjoying that wonderful Caribbean tropical beverage, that's there as well. But there's also, there's cooking demonstrations, there's towel folding, there's arts and crafts classes, there's painting. If you're someone like me who's into the nautical aspect of ships, sometimes they do something like the history of the cruise line. Like last one was the history of Holland America Line. And if people don't know, Holland America Lines just is celebrating their 150 years sailing. So that was really kind of interesting to me because I kind of learned about the origin and how the cruise line started till now, 2023. They'll do some things like on the last day. I know Royal Caribbean's very big with the Q&A, so the question and answer. So all the senior officers, the captain, the staff captain, the hotel director, the cruise director will all come, and basically they have nothing planned. They basically ask the audience that they come, the cruise staff come with the microphone, and they ask the captain questions. So they ask them things about, how fast does the ship go? How long until we need fuel? And really things that are, people that are into ships and nautical buffs, those are really cool things to kind of attend. But again, it's all it's different based on what cruise line you go on. They do deck parties at night. They do dancing under the stars. They do silent disco, which is really weird, right? You see people, you don't hear any music, but they have the headphones on and they're dancing and singing in the middle of the hall, and you're like, what is that? But people enjoy those things. So it can span very differently from cruise lines. If you're talking about, the contemporary cruise lines that will have probably more activities than the premium. The premium will have activities. They'll be a little bit less than contemporary. And then you kind of go to the luxury where it's kind of even less and less. The cruise lines that are premium and luxury will offer more like enrichment series of lectures. So if you're going to like the Panama Canal, like I was on the Panama Canal, they'll do like a talk in the main theater about the history of the Panama Canal. So yeah, there's different things to do. I don't think you'll be bored, but just be careful on the ship, the itinerary, and the cruise line that you book. They're vastly different from each other.
I know where you would find me on the cruise ship. It's going to be one, bingo, because I love bingo. And
Bingo.
two,
Sorry.
you'll find me shopping or laying by the pool. I'm going to
Hmm.
relax in some type of way, but bingo first with my ladies, and then by the pool, shopping, all of the things that I just love to do.
I forgot about
Um,
that. Bingo. Yes, bingo is very big on cruise ships. You got to pay for it to play, but there's sometimes you can win a free cruise. So the bingo, there's some very serious bingo players out there. My good friend plays bingo, and yeah, you could win a free cruise. So the jackpot can get very big if you're on a long cruise. By the end, they're ready to give away that 7 night free cruise. So I'm sorry, I forgot about bingo. I have never played bingo on the ship. So yes.
It's okay. I would be happy to show you. You get several
Hmm.
cards in front of you. It gets very intense. I learned from a very great group of women in hotels, and they brought me along to their bingo nights, and I could not keep up with one card. Next thing you know, you have multiple in front of you. So you will
Okay.
be winning a free cruise one of these days. I'm sure of it. So as far as sea days go, we have done a really great video on seasickness. Jonathan has gone really far in depth, offered some tips and tricks as far as seasickness goes. So go ahead and take a look at that video if you've not already. Like, comment, subscribe, of course, while you're watching that. And let's move along to port days. So everybody's always very excited because this is, what your itinerary is based around is where your port days are going to be. Let's talk a little bit about what you do on these port days. I'm always so curious to hear about this. The last time you went on a cruise, we had a very extensive conversation about excursions. So
Hmm.
tell me, what excursions can you get through your cruise ship? And also, what excursions are you available to book on your own? And how do you find those?
Yeah, so very, very important. This is the first thing that I'll say about shore excursions, right? If depending on where your cruise is going in the itinerary, always make sure that your watch, right, your watch that you have and your phone, if your phone has service, make sure your watch is set on the ship time, right? Even if the port is not operating on the ship time, the only thing that matters is the ship time, right? And when you leave the ship, pay attention to the all aboard, right? You don't want to be the pier runners and all of us booing at you because we're waiting for you, the two or three passengers that are missing, because they will leave you. And I have seen it multiple times. Pay attention to the time of the ship time. Make sure you pay attention to the all aboard. And now getting back to our regular question. Shore excursions, depending on where you are, you should book with the cruise line just so you have the confidence and knowing that if something happens on the tour, which I was on a shore excursion, not on this cruise, but the previous one in last December. I took one through that actually went through the Panama Canal. And everyone is like, we got to be back in an hour. And everyone's like, we're like 2 hours away from the ship. And everyone's going around everyone and saying, does anyone have their passports with them if the ship leaves us? Long story short, they basically confirmed, our tour guide say the ship will wait for us no matter what time we get there. And we felt a little bit at ease, but everyone was a little concerned because there was 150 of us booked on this celebrity sponsored shore excursion. The ship must wait for anyone on those shore excursions. So will you pay a premium for ship shore excursions? Yes, but they are their insurance and everything that they need is better than what you'll get if you go book something off, which you take your chance with that. But if something happens on that shore excursion, the bus breaks down on the side of the road and you didn't book with the cruise line, there's a good chance you might be left behind. But shore excursions are expensive, but they give you that peace of mind knowing if the God forbid happens, the ship will be there waiting for you when you get back. Because when we got back to the ship, I probably was one of the last people on, and that gangway was thrown in, and we were pedal to the metal to the next port. Because you have to remember, right? Kind of getting off topic. Ships have a schedule to make, right? They plan their itineraries based on the distance and and how much fuel and how fast they're going to go. So it was pedal to the metal that night because we left almost 2 hours late, but we were on board and we got back and we were like, ooh, that was a close one, but at least we knew that there was going to be a cruise ship waiting for us when we got back to Panama. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yes, it did. Let's talk about docking. There's always been a lot of questions that I've had about when you do go to port. Do you know what your load and unload time is in advance? How will
Mhm.
you know? Is each day the same? Tell us a little bit further about that.
You'll know about what time the ship is scheduled to arrive in the port, and you'll know what time the ship will depart. You'll get that in something as a daily planner, cruise compass, navigator, all these different things that the cruise lines call them. Most cruise lines now, after COVID, have something called like a navigator's app in your phone where you could download and you have basically the itinerary and the day. And when you leave the ship through the gangways, you'll basically see all aboard for the crew and all aboard for the passengers. Usually it's a half hour prior to departure. So pay attention to that time. And as I said in the last question, make sure your watch, you should have a watch. make sure it's on the ship time, because the ship, depending on the itinerary, will go through different time zones, and they basically keep ship time. So don't pay attention to what time it is in port, because obviously the captain is not looking at what time it is in port. He's looking at ship time.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. I mean, we discussed time management and everybody's biggest fear of being left behind. So thank you for discussing that, because my fear would be I'm not keeping track of time. I am out shopping, enjoying the city. Next thing you know, I'm being left behind. So I appreciate your comments on that. Let's go to the final night here. We're all excited that we had this beautiful cruise. We're on our way back home. We're heading home to our own beds. Let's talk about packing and preparing to depart this ship.
Yeah, so the saddest part of the cruise, I remember when I was young, would be they have these luggage mats, and you open the door and there's a luggage mat, which either means one or two things: the cruise is starting or the cruise is ending. So when you see those luggage mats, the cabin steward will put it on the bed. It'll say "luggage place here." They mean they want you to go, and they want you to pack, but they don't want you to dirty their linen. So when you see that, you know it's time to pack. But be very careful. Pack your luggage, because at the last night of the cruise, most cruise lines will ask that most of your luggage that you want the ship to carry off for you be outside your cabin by 10 p.m. the last night of the cruise, right? So the dreaded thing is the luggage placed on the bed, and the saddest thing is seeing the luggage placed outside the door. So when you see the luggage lined up the hallway, you're like, it's over. But let me preface this: make sure you have a night bag or little luggage, so that you leave clothes out for the last morning. That big piece gets put in the holds of the ship and taken off early morning in port. So you will not see that bag again until you get into the terminal. So, having been on a lot of cruises, probably a little bit, maybe a few years ago, you would see a lot of bathrobes with the cruise line logo on them, because these people did not pay attention to the disembarkation process. So they didn't have any clothes. And the cruise line, they wanted those bathrobes back. So last night of the cruise, make sure you pack your night bag. Leave yourself whatever you need for the morning. Don't pack medications. Don't pack your passports. But make sure you have clothes to wear off the ship if you're driving home, if you're flying, whatever you're doing. This does not apply to anyone doing self-assist disembarkation. Self-assist disembarkation means if you are handling all the luggage yourself, and you're literally the first ones off the ship, but that's if you are carrying all your luggage by yourself. I don't know. A lot of people choose to do it because you're not waiting for other, color coding and all this different people being called off the ship. I have not done that. I kind of wait, patiently for my color, for my luggage to be called. I don't need to be off the ship at 7 a.m. Or if you booked a short cruise and you want to go to work that day, then self-assist is for you. Maybe for the next cruise, we might do that, because if you want to be off fast, you carry all your luggage off, you go through customs, and you're on your way, you're in your car, ready to go back to wherever you're going.
Well, thank you for that. I absolutely would be the person sitting there waiting for my color to be called. I will not be caught taking my luggage off that ship.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk a little bit further about some future plans for the channel. What are the future plans that you have coming up? We just did 2 back-to-back interviews, plus we have the first one up. Like I said, everybody go and watch those last 2 interviews. Go take a look at them, like, comment, subscribe, leave us some feedback. If you want to hear anything on this channel, you have any questions that you want answered, go ahead and comment that, so then we can use that for our material coming up in our next interviews. But Jonathan, where do you see this channel moving forward?
Yeah. As I said in a couple of videos, I hope to give you the best possible, my feedback and my opinions, and what I've experienced in the last 20 years on 54 cruises. I hope to pass on to all of my wonderful subscribers, and we hope to gain some more. I know we would like to provide you with these daily, not daily, but these maybe weekly one-on-ones and as check-ins, and kind of talk about different things that are going on in the industry and other questions that Samantha might have for me. I'd be happy to do these, and we appreciate an open dialogue and getting comments going. I love to answer them and kind of go from there.
I love to pick his brain and hear all the things he has to say because I have so many questions being so naive to the cruise industry. I've never been on a cruise. We've previously discussed on this channel. So I always have a lot of questions and I'm always curious. It sounds fun, sounds just like a moving resort.
Hmm.
And speaking of a lot of questions that I have about cruises. We have some exciting news.
Yes.
One of the content items we are planning to do is in early 2024. We are planning to go on a cruise together to get some content for you guys, do some in person interviews, and kind of get both of our perspectives on the cruise. We don't know exactly when that's going to take place, but we are planning that right now. So, everybody, stay tuned for when the dates are going to be released on when we will be there. We will live post as much as we possibly can. Jonathan will be purchasing a very expensive internet package just so we can do that.
Yes, yes, definitely. We are excited to kind of elevate the channel, and obviously, you guys want to see cruise content, right? And I love being on a ship, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Me and Samantha are definitely looking at some certain itineraries, and hopefully in 2024 we'll be on a cruise, and we will film the ship, and you'll get much improved photography, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and I know it's going to be exciting to kind of see us on board the ship. Maybe we'll be stars of our own channel, and we'll get some very high ranking officers maybe to do like a Q&A with us. Maybe we'll see behind the scenes footage on a certain line, but we hope to announce where we're going, what cruise line, what ship, hopefully soon, right? We're waiting to get that great deal. If you go back to some of the other videos, right? When I was talking about the 150 to the 175 day, the sweet spot, we're hoping to get that deal. But everybody knows what's my favorite cruise line, and I hope Samantha is able to experience Celebrity. Hopefully it's going to be Celebrity, but we don't know yet. We're looking around, but Celebrity is known for the best service and the best food out there, and it's a great way to start Samantha's cruising career. So we hope to be on that in early 2024.
All right. So once we solidify those dates, we'll let you all know. You can probably see a little bit more of a sneak peek of our dynamic here since we keep it very professional and buttoned up for these interviews. But everybody, please like, comment, subscribe on this video. Please share it to all of your friends and anybody who is interested in cruises or planning some upcoming cruises. We hope that this content is very useful for everybody here. Very friendly family channel. Family friendly channel. And if
Mhm.
you have any questions, obviously drop them in the comments. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.